This is Sybert signing into Tiberium Wars on the map Tournament Coastline for the Brotherhood Best of 7 Finals. In the top left-hand corner as the pink random nod, this is Shocktapus. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the red scrin, this is BikeRushOwnz. As I mentioned, this is the finals. We're skipping all of the other games, heading right into the finals for, it looks like, a bit of a Shadow Team rush coming out from Shocktapus. And this may have been random v random, but at the very least, we know that BikeRush doesn't know that this is coming, although he may be predicting that. At any rate, we're skipping past the finals. Wow. Crane first from BikeRush. We're skipping past all the games to go right into the finals, and this is best of 7, so we're guaranteed at least 4 games in this series. But to bring you up to speed, BikeRush went 3-0 against Shocktapus in the semis. So Shocktapus is in the finals, but Shocktapus was 3-0'd in the semis, and Shocktapus went 3-0 against Aggressive Panda in the semis. So Aggressive Panda and Shocktapus getting both knocked out there before the finals, and Shocktapus and BikeRush making it on with clean 3-0 records. So for now, Shadow Team Rush has not worked. Of course, we do have a double Shadow Team Rush, so there's a second group heading in from the north. Seeker teams and Buzzer Hives all are already here. Seeker tanks, rather, are already here with those Buzzer Hives to chase down and then eventually kill these Shadow Teams. They're going to suicide down onto this reactor. There's the cell. He gets at least one of the teams. The other one, it looks like, is surviving for now. And expansions coming out for both of these guys as well. The other Shadow Team, it looks like, no, it's still alive, so it did not get eliminated. And actually juking a little bit here, running past BikeRush's defenses. BikeRush going directly for what would be his third field as a potential natural expansion, and he may just end up moving on past this rather quickly, although it could be his forward operating base. And these Shadow Teams, they're going to spot there's no natural expansion. BikeRush's mothership, drone ship rather, is missing from that location. Shocktapus, on the other hand, going for a little bit more of a standard game. And he did, looks like, actually, no, he wasn't going for the engineer because I don't think there was an engineer. BikeRush foregoing the engineer for now. And, well, both teams do escape for now, so I don't know who's ahead, but, you know, I would put money on BikeRush in this particular case because, obviously, you got to invest into that Shadow Team rush, and at least some of the Shadow Teams do still survive, which means you have an opportunity to sneak in and do some damage a little bit later, although as more of them get eliminated, never mind, that damage is gone. So, yep. BikeRush cleaning that up pretty darn nicely. There's no backstabbing potential for Shocktapus. He doesn't have any opportunities to be sneaky with those same units, so just a lot of cost, some micro, and not anything really gained for it. Triple refinery on this third field, or really what is now his just first expansion. And yeah, grabbing a building next to a Buzzer Hive is never something that's going to work out very well. Scorpion tanks on the defense for Shocktapus, and BikeRush could go ahead and sell one of those refiners, transition a couple more harvesters to his main field, and then we'll have to see, does he decide to expand backwards? I'm assuming he's dropping some tech down, but does he decide to expand backwards to his safe natural, or does he go more aggressive, or just try and base push in general? BikeRush is one of those guys that you never know if he's going to drop, in this case, an airfield, and go for a second MCV, and then just try and, like, push you with base defenses, or if he's going to go big on the tech and go a different direction entirely. You got to be careful with the really aggressive stuff, and then you also have to wonder if he's secretly teching up and he's gonna have some whole bunch of tripods in your base, since there's no Eradicator Hexapod in this game, but a whole bunch of tripods in your base before you know it, blowing up your space. For now, it is going to be the expansion backwards to the safety field. He's got good eco production facilities on the front line here. Even the gravity stabilizer, that airfield that I mentioned before, building something. Could be just a couple of Storm Riders to get him up and running. Tech Lab is up for Shocktapus, choosing to drop his crane at his natural expansion. And he's right now just slowly base creeping towards his third field. Doesn't look like he wants to move his Conyard just yet. Producing some Venoms. Gonna give him some potential anti-air capability. And I'm guessing he's going for laser beams. But whatever the laser upgrade is called. Yeah, it's just gonna be just a straight base crawl. So, like the good old days, base crawling with refineries towards your expansion. Who needs to move their MCV? You can just build more buildings. BikeRush setting up his economy back there pretty well, so he's going to have a nice field, and of course, this is going to become a little bit more of a contested field if BikeRush chooses to put on pressure down in the south for Shocktapus. But for now, Shocktapus is doing a good job of keeping it safe. Even an Avatar stomping its way onto the front lines here. He needs to protect that field as the game goes on longer. It's going to become more and more important. BikeRush mashing forces on the front line. The building's having a little bit of trouble here and splitting the army up, capturing that Avatar and keeping it out of this fight so his Avatars and his Descents can go one-to-one with the Scorpion tanks, which will always turn out better for the Scrin player in that case. Shocktapus getting those units locked down does not have the forces to really take on this army, pulling back to his build radius, dropping some static D, but there's already artillery out on the field for BikeRush. And now this Avatar nearly getting trapped. It does go down there. Even from the right side, more tripods going to be closing on in. BikeRush mixing in even shock troopers to this army. And the Scorpion tanks going to be coming on forward, but force fields do get activated. And these Scorpion tanks with their dozer blades are going to take a little bit more punishment, but it's not going to be enough versus this many tripods going for a little bit of those shots. But even a storm column on the front line is going to make this that much more difficult. And BikeRush, he doesn't have to give up this position if he doesn't want to. He can just keep funneling units one by one into this area. As long as he denies the mining, he is going to be up even if he's down in total units. Denying this mining is probably the name of the game, and if he can snipe that refinery, then you don't even have to totally deny the mining, because the extra distance that the harvesters have to drive will do it itself. Devastator warship does go down. Oh, he only built one. So actually, Shocktapus, he's going to be all right for the current moment. He does still have a lot of tripods to deal with, but a combination of obelisks and avatars. Double war factor on the front line is going to be harder to deal with. But a combination of obelisks and avatars could hold the line while these harvesters get harvesting. But again, the trouble is, BikeRush has consumed 3 entire Tiberium fields. Shocktapus is down to just those 2, and the third field is the bigger of the 3. Using even a war factory and an airfield to try and body block for these tripods. He's moving on forward. The Venom's moving in to do a little bit of extra damage, and this one obelisk is going to get targeted down pretty darn quickly. However, there are 4 avatars here, not enough to go toe-to-toe with all of these tripods. Even another tripod going to be moving in here. Not the numbers that Shocktapus wants, as it ripping through the front line. There's not a whole lot here to stop BikeRush from just crushing all of these harvesters and denying absolutely everything. Final obelisk does go down. More tripods stomping their way to the front line, and Shocktapus taps out. He has been defeated. Game 1 going to BikeRush. Opening up this best of 7 pretty strong. You always want to take that first victory, and then you've got a free game for the rest of the time, and that economy graph tells the tale. They were close, but it was BikeRush ahead the entire time. You got to do the damage with those shadow teams in the early game, and my gosh, 40,000 credits more of just everything. Buildings, tripods, secret tanks, I mean, whatever you want. But BikeRush takes game number 1. Let's find out what happens in game number 2, which takes us to Tournament Tower in the top left-hand corner as the pink nod. Once again, this is Shocktapus. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the red GDI, this is BikeRushOwnz. Tournament Tower, classic map. One of the favorites for Tib Wars, but definitely fell out of favor in Kane's Wrath. And, you know, again, like I said in a couple of weeks ago in my first video when coming back, this can lead to some stale-matey games. BikeRush gets the advantage in the early game with his rifleman squad, gunning down those militants, and going to protect his engineer nicely in the south, although these are pretty safe spikes, not really pokery spikes in this particular game. So far, looking standard for Shocktapus. BikeRush, standard as well. So nothing weird, no shadow teams in this particular game. Nothing a little more aggressive, which inevitably delays your economy, and then of course delays your mid-game, like in the last match. Scouts going out for both players, a single bike for Shocktapus, going to be poking at these APCs, spots them in the middle of the map. A Pitbull going to be the follow-up for BikeRush, and a second Pitbull, it looks like, might be coming on out. Refineries on the high ground, up and running, doing just a teensy bit of damage to that harvester. Not a big deal for Shocktapus to deal with. Bike's going to be pushing on forward. They get an APC. I think they sniped down that other Pitbull over there as well. And Bike, he's going to be forced back. No problem for Shocktapus. Those are rifleman squads going to be hanging out in the Tiberium, and that's really annoying. Selling the shredder turret and then losing the squad and not actually clearing out those riflemen is very irritating. Technically, one guy's still alive here running up to the high ground. Gonna see what he can see, although he may also get squished like his brethren. Pits and APCs, still the name of the game for BikeRush. Got a couple of extra harvesters as well for that second field. And, I mean, it's not going to take long with the way these guys are ecoing for these second fields, their natural expansions, to dry up, and unlike most maps, you don't have that third field to continue on your mid and late game with. So, you got to make it happen with just these two smaller fields. APCs and pits going to be trading with the bikes and the rocket troopers. Shocktapus shouldn't have too much trouble as long as his infantry get good shots off and he doesn't lose too much to those APCs. And Bike on the back end, not doing anything too sneaky. Drops a second war factory up here, as you guys just saw. And Bike's going to be coming around. Nope, decides to turn around. Thought Shocktapus might have been going for a bit of a backstab, but BikeRush was already aware of it. There's the pack up of the MCV. Could try and go for a bit of a base push. You know, sonic emitters, never bad for that situation. But even if it's just watchtowers behind buildings, that can be troublesome for your opponent to deal with as well. And Shocktapus is actually going to be pulling back some forces to the south side here. He's going to be looking to protect whatever it is down there. Ooh, a sneaky engineer for BikeRush. It does get spotted and sniped there. In the top side, we do have this Predator tank going for the crushes. Not enough to actually eliminate a lot of these rocket troopers. They do take him down, and for now, the harvesters are standing strong. Shocktapus's economy hasn't really been ruined just yet, although these rocket troopers are starting to drop a little bit low in numbers, which if the Pitbulls focus, it's not going to be a problem. Shocktapus able to push everything back. The MCV is now here in the middle of the map. It's not on the front lines, but even if it's just dropping a war factory, over time, this could be a little bit more troublesome for Shocktapus. There's a hand of nod, a second one on the front lines for Shocktapus. The pressure is on. BikeRush is dropping more racks, bringing in his Predator tanks, and it looks like he's going to be focusing everything right here on this angle. 3 watchtowers now on the front line, and Shocktapus is a little bit more spread out. He's got rocket teams not even engaging, and I mean, these watchtowers are going to be difficult to deal with when you don't have proper armor to absorb their damage. They're just eating up those rocket squads without too much trouble, and of course denying the harvesting on all of this Tiberium. BikeRush continuing to push his economy further forward. Predator tank's getting eaten up by Shocktapus. He's got enough rockets to do some damage, but he's having trouble dealing with the actual watchtowers, which is a bit problematic for him. Still not really pumping anything out of his war factory. On the right side there, it looks like a flame tank ends up going down, and BikeRush staying safe, keeping the backstabs out of his base, and instead continuing to put on pressure. His Predator tanks have been pushed back, which, you know, is troublesome for him, but he's also denying so much harvesting on this field. This field nearly gone, but BikeRush is just getting further and further ahead in the economy game. Abelisks. Obelisks and avatars. The combination is an obelisk, but, you know, an avatar and an obelisk on the front line. That is what you need to deal with those watchtowers to push BikeRush's base push back. Looks like BikeRush ended up losing his tower, one flame tank. Flame tank decides to turn around, doesn't want to sacrifice itself to the Predator tanks that are here waiting for it, so good on Shocktapus getting what value he can. We have definitely seen some games where over time that 25 credits a second adds up to be a big difference between these players. Avatars here. I don't know if they can totally march forward here. Depending on the Predator tank numbers, they may not be able to engage directly, but they can certainly get back to harvesting this field, and these avatars can certainly provide enough. Is he going to try and block in this avatar with buildings? That would have been pretty funny from BikeRush. BikeRush trying to go for the kill, and that avatar taking a lot of damage to the rear armor, but it does survive, needs to get some repairs before it really is very useful on the front line. And again, Shocktapus, he's secured this field. That's the important thing here. BikeRush not able to jump on that avatar. Will allow it to escape with minimal damage. And with this many Pred tanks, okay, so he does have the tech center. No railguns on the way just yet. So, a lot of Predator tanks. Railguns would be pretty beneficial for him. One rifleman squad up there in the north on the lookout. And this would have been a great time for a bit of a backstab if you could sneak it by. High power plant. High power plant? Upgraded power plant is really what I mean to say. Instead, going for the jugs. So trading out railguns for jugs. Probably going for railguns now. And again, this would be nice. It would slow bike down a little bit there. Ooh, Space Command uplink dropped for BikeRush. And there's the scan. Looking for the harvesters. Not going to be able to do anything at this very moment. For now, the harvesters will be able to escape. Although, if he can start chewing away at these refineries... Ooh, even drops a disruption tower just to make things a little bit more difficult. I think the disruption tower is still going to be in range of those juggernauts, though. I don't know if he could have dropped it maybe a little bit further back. Getting some shots on these harvesters. And the Venom's going to be trying to push this back. Vertigo Bomber as well, going for the kill. Doesn't get it on the Juggernaut. Movement in the north, that flame tank. This is the one spot where BikeRush is looking with that rifleman squad, although now he has a harvester and a rocket squad down in the south. And I guess his vision probably lets him see what's going on there. Flame tank pauses. That potentially is not good. Mines get dropped on top of these Preds, on top of the jugs. They do get cleaned up. One Predator tank goes down, but the Juggernaut survives. That's not really what Shocktapus actually wanted here, and this is great from Shocktapus. If he's actually able to clean up all of this stuff, it'll help slow down BikeRush a little bit and even things up in the economy game. Power plants are great, but really killing that refinery would be a little bit nicer. And it'll definitely take everything offline here, although BikeRush may be dropping more power plants as we speak, so the rate of destruction of these power plants may actually kind of match the rate of building new power plants for BikeRush in this particular case. Flame tank does get eliminated there, explodes into a fireball, and the refinery does end up going down. Railguns now out on the field, and even some zone troopers out to play. Most of this has been harvested, but of course, every little bit that you can slow down your opponent is good. Juggernaut husks, one of them does go down, and the second one gets eliminated, but the engineers get killed as well. So that's $1 grand just in engineers there, even though he did trade out with the Venoms, and the Venoms cost a bit more than that. Railgun Preds are going to be engaging with these avatars, and it looks like firing off some one-clicks as the Vertigo's come in. They're going to be able to clean out some of these avatars. Great moves there. Shockwave Artillery raining down EMP on top of these avatars, giving BikeRush an opportunity to clean up a couple more kills. There goes the Shattering Cannon on the front line there. And this last avatar will fall for BikeRush. Actually, Shocktapus doesn't have anything else. BikeRush getting the kill on that avatar. He doesn't have a whole lot else to really keep him anchored here. The Sonic Emitter going down didn't really matter because there's enough here for BikeRush. No, there's one more avatar. There's a couple of... No, he grabs an avatar. BikeRush trying to turn the tide with armor. I was going to say if he could get a couple more shredder turrets up, then Shocktapus would be able to eventually wear down this army, and he's doing just that. But now with an avatar here to absorb at least the Vertigo bombs, he's going to go down. Can BikeRush get a second engineer? He's starting to leech some of this field, which is super annoying, and again, denying the Tiberium is almost as important as getting kills on the units. And with only shredder turrets, I mean, they can shoot all day at these harvesters. They're not going to stop them from harvesting. There's no muscle here on the front line for Shocktapus to stop this. BikeRush swinging things back into his favor, stealing literally thousands of credits worth of Tiberium from his opponent's fields. Although Vertigos are going to be coming in, they're going for the pit bulls, which is kind of nice, but the money escapes on out of there. And oh my gosh, even killing a harvester, BikeRushOwnz not letting up with the pressure. Going to be pulling his pit bulls back. For now, his attack has been stopped, and BikeRush has so many harvesters full of Tiberium, he can't actually do something with all of them. Laser Scorps now onto the front line, transitioning out of that Tier 3 and into Tier 1 with upgrades. Vertigo Bomber's going to be coming in. They take out one. No, the Pred actually escapes. A little bit of a problem there, but the Watchtower does go down again. These harvesters all day with these shredder turrets, but if the Scorpion tanks or rocket troopers are not the ones actually attacking them, another Vertigo does go down. The harvesters escape. One Pred does get eliminated, this MCV. It would be great if Shocktapus found a way to capture it or really do something about it, but for now, a war factory on the front lines, faster repairs, faster reinforcements for BikeRushOwnz. He was never able to reestablish that refinery, so as the game goes on, as this field regrows, it's going to be a little bit slow harvesting for BikeRush. And actually, Shocktapus is leaving a couple thousand credits on the ground there in Tiberium, just waiting for him to harvest. Could send one of those harvesters off of the dangerous front lines where the pit bulls are. One Predator tank does go down. The War Factory remains pretty much untouched, and actually trying to suicide these pit bulls all the way into enemy lines. He's going to be going for the kills. He may actually get it. One Vertigo goes down, and there's nothing here. No, there is a Scorpion tank to eventually kill off these pit bulls, but it's getting trapped by his own SimCity. Shocktapus may end up losing another Vertigo, and those are desperately trying to keep him in this game. The air tower does survive. Mines dropped onto these Predator tanks. Some nice damage. One Predator tank does go down, but not enough kills. The Harvester escapes. The Pred tanks back up. They're going to get repaired. They've got railguns on the front line. Shocktapus, he's almost out of answers. Back and forth these two go, but every unit that escapes that gets us those free repairs is another advantage for BikeRush. Nice snipe by those Scorpion tanks from Shocktapus. Sells his MCV, gets a little bit of a cash boost, but you actually don't need both of these refineries on the front line. It's not huge cash back, but it would be a little bit of something. And I mean, at this point, no more base defenses. It is going to be a shadow team sneaking out. One more Vertigo bombing run. It does manage to escape, gets itself double vet status, cleans up another Predator tank, and this one Harvester, can he actually escape? The answer is going to be yes, easy and clean. A second Harvester leeching Tiberium for BikeRush. Everything is gone from the front lines. 5 Scorpion tanks here. The last ditch effort. Shocktapus. Sorry, buddy, Shocktapus. Going to be finally harvesting his main field, making value out of that, and unfortunately this one shadow team, not enough bombs to actually clean up this power plant, and now they got to get on out of there. If they take to the skies, the pit bulls will become more effective at taking them down, and these two refineries doing so much good for BikeRush, using his harvester to kill those shadow team members. More laser scorps being pumped onto the front lines. As long as Shocktapus has the War Factory, he has some kind of a chance. If he could get another Vertigo, that would be great, but in this particular case, oh wait, he's got nothing. So, never mind, you just got to keep that one Vertigo alive. Pumping out a ton of Scorpion tanks. They're not going to trade super well against Railgun Preds with repairs, but for now, Leading with his harvesters, actually absorbing some of the fire here. 3 Predator tanks go down, but he trades it for that Vertigo, and that could be the only advantage that Shocktapus is going to have for the rest of this game. He may have to commit here. He's splitting up his Scorps. He's not doing a great job of rotating the weakened ones to the rear. Reverse moving a little bit in here, and even an Engineer onto the front lines, possibly from an MCV cell of BikeRushOwnz. It gets sniped there. And Shocktapus losing another and a second Scorpion tank nearly goes down. It goes down on the front lines there, and a couple of these so low on HP. Pitbulls, that extra bit of DPS is enough to turn the tide, and BikeRush crushing on forward, eliminating every single Scorpion tank that Shocktapus has. Now he's into the main base, surrounding the War Factory and eliminating units one by one as they emerge. Shocktapus has been defeated. A close back and forth. I thought BikeRush was going to be able to push it further with that base push, but Shocktapus able to just stop him from actually moving forward. Those avatars giving him so much strength, and on the resource graph, you know, no Shadow Team rush in the beginning means Shocktapus was actually ahead in the eco game for a little while. But around that 9-minute mark, BikeRushOwnz pushing on forward, and then of course at the end, even when things were starting to flatten out for BikeRushOwnz, he started stealing his opponent's Tiberium. And I guess somewhere in here is where Shocktapus started harvesting his main field again. But 20,000 credits difference for these two guys. 20,000 credits more of Predator tanks, and man, those Vertigos getting a lot of work done for Shocktapus, but that does it for game number 2. It wasn't enough work to swing things into his favor, and it goes BikeRushOwnz 2-0 in this best of 7. Let's see what happens in game number 3. Which takes us to Tournament Dust Bowl. We have got some Spike Poker to watch in the north as the red nod all 3 factions. This is BikeRushOwnz. And in the south, as the random scrin, this is Shocktapus. Ooh, this is tough. When you got those scrin engineers, and when BikeRush has the opportunity for some shadow teams, you gotta be careful with those Tiberium spikes. 2 Tib spikes, basically equidistant from each player, no clear advantage, and that's why they call it Spike Poker. In this case, Shocktapus sees, oh, BikeRush's nod, so I'm just not even going to try. And that is definitely the safe choice, although he did pump out a lot of buzzers, and 2 shadow teams, are they enough? I think he's going to go for the snipe on the engineer. No, he does waken the Okay, so that worked out great for Shocktapus. Good on him. He gets the spike, so that's about as good as you could ask for in that situation. I thought BikeRush was just going to try and dive on the engineer and just say, forget the consequences. But in this case, yeah, it works out. Shocktapus is doing fine. War Factory does get spotted on the left side of the map. And of course, as you can see, you got a safe expansion over to the side, and then your third base is going to be a little bit more open and a little bit more contested. This is very unfortunate for Shocktapus. He was definitely hoping that this would not be seen, but he's going to go, well, straight for a quote-unquote third base, but obviously this is not where the third base would normally be. Double refinery before the pack up and move for BikeRush, and 3 refineries and a power plant over here for Shocktapus. So he's even going to be trying to grab this Tib Spike back, which would be nice. You know, 50 credits a second, although Engineer for BikeRush looks like it's going to be able to grab that Tib Spike. So whatever, they'll end up trading spikes, but they both got the cash back, which is nice for them. You know, we can all admit that's always nice for them. MCV takes a little bit of damage before having to pack up. This is not a lot of seeker tanks, so I assume BikeRush is going to be able to deal with this. Power plant does go down, and eventually those shadow teams are going to be able to put on some damage if Shocktapus does not deal with them. Finally, rocket troopers out on the field. This is really what you want to start pushing this back, the combo of rocket teams and scorpion tanks. Not going to be easy for these seeker tanks to defeat, especially since BikeRush had the drop on this much, much longer ago than Shocktapus would have liked. Nice drop of the buzzer hive. It looks like BikeRush may have to try and find some alternate locations to bomb. Looks like a Scorpion tank ended up going down there. They're going to try and sneak in here. They can get this reactor, no problem there. One power plant going down is always nice. They get the buzzers, and, ooh, low power mode. Very annoying since those buzzers were part way on the way for BikeRush. Trades out one of his shadow teams almost. Doesn't actually trade out his shadow team, and now he's out of range, so that's good. That power plant is definitely vulnerable, so BikeRush can swing back in there with... Looks like he cleaned up a couple of rocket troopers here. Shocktapus, that is. BikeRush can swing back in with his shadow teams and clean up that power plant. Big swarm of buzzers going to be able to clean up the infantry, but there's not a ton of infantry, which means these Scorpion tanks, they mostly just laugh at the buzzers. Lightning Spike is nice to kind of anchor this army a little bit here, and one more shadow team going down always feels good for Shocktapus. Harvester's starting to get low a little bit here, and this is a lot of secret tanks, so BikeRush maybe didn't take this as seriously as he should have. Relying on those rocket troopers when they end up just getting sniped by the buzzers means you don't have much in terms of defense. Last shadow team does go down, and even repair drones on the front lines, so that your war factory doesn't mean anything to Shocktapus as he's pushing more and more seeker tanks down BikeRush's throat. Gonna start carving away at these base defenses, even getting a little bit of damage on these harvesters. But again, just like BikeRush did in previous games, denying the harvesting of this field. He's got no harvesters over there, even though the refinery is there, so there's no economy for BikeRush. Shocktapus is doing... Oh my gosh, an engineer grabbing this refinery down here, so I'm a little bit sad that I missed that. But BikeRushOwnz going to be selling pretty much everything off, trying to fight what he can. No, he's selling off completely. GG has been called. BikeRushOwnz is defeated. He grabbed that refinery down south, but it wasn't enough. Shocktapus puts a win on the board. A great job denying that mining of BikeRush's main field, hitting BikeRush in the same way that he hit Shocktapus. And as it turns out, in this series, if you go, at least so far, if you go for shadow teams, the game doesn't work out for you. So BikeRushOwnz, classically a Nod player, losing the one time he plays Nod so far in this series. Let's find out what game number 4 has in store for us. Which takes us to Small Town, USA, known for its big tower and, of course, its acronym as STUSA. In the top right-hand corner as the red Nod, this is BikeRushOwnz. Up 2-1 in this best of 7, and putting a win on the board, this is Shocktapus as the pink GDI, classic Nod v GDI. Ooh, another shadow team rush. So BikeRush, can he break the curse? Although in this case, it's safe spikes for both players on STUSA, and you don't have to worry. Ooh, actually, he's going double shadow teams, so 4 shadow teams, that means double the fun, double the power plant kills. Although these engineers should be fine. This one will definitely be fine. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is BikeRush actually going to get this engineer? No, he doesn't see it. Great for Shocktapus. He's going to get that money back. He's going to get that 25 credits a second. Oh, he's going to lose another engineer, though. Almost certainly 2 more engineers into APCs, and they get sniped. That's $1,000 down the drain. So already, with the power plant kill, no sell by Shocktapus, and this is starting to pay off for BikeRushOwnz. He gets the other... No, he gets the barracks, not another power plant. Super annoying into that low power mode for Shocktapus. Increased production times and all that. So BikeRushOwnz trying to even things up, trying to make things a little bit more economically in line. Jumps into that structure, going to give him a little bit more ability to survive. And okay, so the other teams just pulled north. Now there are still 2 teams, even though it's 1 member on each of them, which I think gives them equal bombing ability. They don't have the same infantry killing ability, but they should have the equal bombing ability. And then it's going to sneak down around the left side of the map, going as close to that edge as they can. And if they get 1 more power plant, it's almost certainly going to be worth it, this entire shadow team rush. They get the 2 engineers, they get 2 power plants, well, a power plant and a barracks, and maybe even a second power plant. Oh! No, it's an MCV move. I was like, is this an MCV sell? But BikeRush is going to know this. He sees the crane in an extremely protected position. 1 war factory and the 2 refineries at the main base. BikeRush has not moved his MCV. He's got the ops center, so could be flame tanks. Trades out. No, he doesn't actually get it. The watchtowers get the kill, so a great play there by Shocktapus. I keep wanting to call him Shocktapus because these 2 guys, although he does spot the flame tanks, you know, they've got very similar names. That's all I'm saying. They have similar names. That's it. Power plant back up to full HP, so nice for Shocktapus. He's going to be sending these 2 pred tanks over. He wants to deal with that flame tank on the edge of the screen there, and a second flame tank heading south, which could be problematic. Again, BikeRush, he doesn't need to do all the damage in the world. He's going to get 1 rocket team and a second one as well. No, 1 member does survive from each team, so no kills just yet. And then he's going to hop into this building just to be extra annoying. Flame tank does get cleaned up. This other flame tank pulls back, and the Black Hand squad as well. Did he sell? Yeah, he sold off the op center after he dropped the tech lab, so he's got avatars out on the field. BikeRush trying to get as much utility out of his stuff as he possibly can, being super annoying and just hiding these shadow teams in that building. Also gonna stick his Black Hand squad in that building, so also being very annoying there. Avatar on the front line, going to be able to hold its own against this Predator tank, no problem. And then I assume anti-infantry will be able to deal with those rocket troopers, no problem there. One bike in the main base. He's going to get a couple of pot shots at these harvesters, so that's super annoying. Predator tank heading up north to join his Predator tank friends. And 1 clicks coming in for BikeRush. Very annoying to deal with. Dual war factories and not going to be taking his natural expansion. 3 tanks going to be heading into the back door of BikeRushOwnz, and it looks like this Black Hand squad will not be able to stand on the front lines. It does get gunned down there eventually after a very long time, surviving for quite a while. And this other one won't last too much longer in that building. But there's BikeRush with his MCV. You always got to make sure that it's not 2 MCVs with this guy. But he's got his 1 MCV and a lot of avatars. Sells off his war factory. He doesn't have a lot in terms of anti-infantry. So in this case, the rocket troopers, if they're able to wheeze away. Never mind, the rocket troopers all get killed by the stealth field, and if they were able to kind of whittle down these avatars, things would be looking a little bit better for Shocktapus. But right now, he doesn't have an answer for this Tier 3 armor that's in his natural expansion. He's going to have to pull back his pred tanks and try and use them for the defense, but there's just not a whole lot here for Shocktapus. BikeRushOwnz is just stomping forward, even his MCV moving a little bit closer. These harvesters are going to get cut down. The shadow team's coming out to bomb the con yard, and there's a lot of damage, but no answer from Shocktapus. Predator tanks are back there, but there's nothing on the front lines here, which means BikeRushOwnz has an expansion nice and easy. He's denied an expansion from his opponent. There's another MCV on the map. Okay, so Shocktapus is not giving up. He's going to head north. He's going to try to establish an expansion up there, and this is his shot. He needs to slow this army down. Who cares about efficiency in this particular situation? You need to slow the army down. You need to make sure that your MCV has time to get your economy rolling up in the north. And if you can turn this army around, you will be pretty much on even footing. Predator tanks heading north. They're going to be able to cause some havoc in the back of BikeRush's base. And actually, if they could snipe that tib spike and maybe clean up some of this infrastructure, call the army back. Oh, he still has the crane. I totally forgot about the crane. Everyone always gets them in Tib Wars. What a great line of avatars. Giving Shocktapus a bit of hope here. That's very annoying. You think you've got a nice expansion up and running. You think you have been a little bit sneaky, but the stealth tank sees all. And a second stealth tank joins the party. This is a lot of harvesters. They've got no defense. The Predator tanks are in the main base, the old main base of BikeRush. And he's going to get 2 harvesters, no problem. Probably a 3rd harvester, considering that there's only riflemen here. to try and deal with this. An obelisk goes down. No easy kills for Shocktapus. Everything is going to be hard fought and difficult. Flaming down the Tib Spike is super annoying. A third harvester going down. A sonic emitter on the front line has to power down 2 refineries, and calling in some one-clicks is BikeRushOwnz. He's going to try and hide in the north. He's going to try and, I'm guessing, vapor bomb down these 2 refineries and gets both of them, able to eliminate them without too much trouble, and even another harvester goes down. This was Shocktapus's shot, and yes, he's got the sonic emitter here to run defense, but these harvesters are in constant peril. What? No! The stealth tank doesn't even go down, and even the harvester gets eliminated. No, it's still alive. It's offloading some of that Tiberium, but it's not enough. What little Tiberium he did get is not enough. Ooh, sonic emitter lining up the shot. Doesn't quite get it. Yes, he does. Stealth tanks have been silenced, and stealing Tiberium, he gets 1 harvester away with that, and that's super annoying. Engineer going to be dropping the Ichor seed. Well, not the engineer, but going to be dropping the Ichor seed on that engineer. And no, it's not from a Conyard cell. At least not yet. Rocket Troopers, Riflemen, the name of the game is Transition for Shocktapus. He's got his expansion going up north. For now, he's doing all right. He's lost a lot of harvesters. He lost a couple of refineries, but that's not too big of a deal as long as he can keep BikeRush at bay. BikeRush has transitioned pretty much everything up to the north, so he's totally given up on this front. No, just kidding, because their shadow team's going to be coming in here. They're going for the bombing runs. They're going to be trying to eliminate what they can. Looks like up in the north. Wow, finally gets the crane. Snipes another refinery with that Tib Catalyst missile. And avatars, no, they're not actually going to the north. They're going to go directly through the middle of the map. Their shadow teams being so annoying. Everything getting pulled back south. And big infantry is nice if you can get the damage from the avatars, if you can stop them from just stomping all over everything. But Shocktapus is going to have to fight this army sooner or later. He's done a great job of slowing it down. He's done a great job of trying to buy himself some time. And he still does have 1 refinery up and running, but hardly any of this Tiberium, no, 2 refineries up and running, hardly any of this Tiberium has actually been harvested. BikeRush, on the other hand, has eaten up half of that southern field, and actually, there's lots more money that could be grabbed for Shocktapus eventually. 1 Venom going down, going for some kills of some kind, but this Saboteur may actually get poisoned to death before he's able to do anything really of use. Big sell-off there for Shocktapus. He's putting everything into his defense of that northern field. He's got to pull out something crazy, and BikeRush has not been giving him an inch. Clicking his base, using the stealth tanks, even getting a hand of Nod, and by hand of Nod, I mean nuclear missile silo, is what I actually meant. Temple of Nod out on the field. Double racks with an armory to back things up, dropping an extra power plant to try and bring things back online. He's going to be able to push away these avatars for now. Doesn't want to go too far forward. A couple of Black Hand squads could do some real damage. These engineers, always got to check. Is BikeRush building engineers regular, or is he selling off MCVs? This one engineer, he's just trying to do his job. And he barely survives with a little bit of health there. BikeRush. Oh, stealth field on all of those rocket troopers. They were so clumped up, and now these Black Hand squads are going to be able to clean up some of the rest, even grabbing his opponent's Tib Spike. So BikeRush still controls 2 Tib Spikes on the map, and so annoying, distracts all of those infantry with a decoy army while he grabs the Tib Spike, calls in more shadow teams just to be extra annoying. And it looks like Pits and Preds able to snipe one Harvester there, which is great for Shocktapus, but now the MCV moves ever further forward. Oh, if those Rocket Troopers could have got all of that damage in on that Conyard, that would have been nice. Takes the spike back, not giving BikeRush the opportunity to really get any value out of it, but the army is here. The slow push forward, even the Shadow teams getting in on the mix, and the Avatars stomping closer, ever closer as this infantry army evaporates. Shocktapus forced to transition to cheap Tier 1 units, but double Shredder teams, Venoms in the sky, Black Hand and Militants on the ground erase absolutely everything. The machine steps forward, and it stops inerringly at victory, and only victory, as BikeRush takes another game off of Shocktapus. The economy graph, I think it's going to tell, yep, a story of trading positions. Shocktapus able to be ahead after the early econ lead. BikeRush took it back in the mid and the late game. And Shocktapus, you have to give it to him. He fought until the bitter end, but it is close to the end as BikeRush goes into match point position with 20,000 credits ahead in total for that game, despite being behind in kind of the middle part of it. All right, boys, let's see. Can Shocktapus pull it back? He has to start winning games from here on out. Let's see what happens in game number 5, which takes us to pipeline problems. In the north, as the pink nod, this is Shocktapus up against the ropes. In the south, the red nod, BikeRushOwnz. All right, blue Tiberium over on the left side of the map, a central focus of pretty much every opening. Never mind. So it's going to be, I'm guessing, a later crane from Shocktapus, and he's going heavy with these Shadow teams. Going to be joining up double Shadow teams because the greedy move is usually the only move on pipeline problems. Also, you got a tip spike and a mutant hovel over on the right side, little expansion point, and then a little EMP control center in the middle of the map. Not that anyone ever grabs those things because it's all about that blue Tiberium. It's so much money. And I'm guessing they're going to go for the crane, although at this point the crane has pretty much already served its purpose. The crane is just to get that expansion up and running even faster. In the middle of the map, Militant Squad is going to catch a Rifleman Squad or a Militant Squad of BikeRush. And to be honest, he's kind of okay with losing that crane in that situation. He got the blue tib faster. He's already got the 2 refineries. He still has the MCV, so if he wanted to drop a third, he could drop a third. But obviously, he's going to be focusing more on his green field. One Shadow team nearly eliminated, and it looks like it does go down there. The second set of Shadow teams did manage to escape. They're going to be able to sneak down this one power plant. No! It gets spotted! And no, they do get the power plant, but they have to trade their lives for it. They end up going down. One single member does survive. He gets sniped out of the sky and falls like a sad, sad moth, dead on the ground. BikeRushOwnz, it's 2 refineries against 1. It's blue tib early versus blue tib late. Double War Factory is the move for Shocktapus. He grabs the engineer since he built the barracks anyways. Ooh, that's a nice little move there. Shocktapus killing BikeRush's engineer. What a nice little thing to do. It's not dual War Factory for BikeRush. It's into the Ops Center. Bike Buggy coming out for Shocktapus. Is he actually going to be able to get any damage done with it against these rocket squads? He's going to have trouble purely... Oh, even dropping a laser turret. Not something you see very often. BikeRush busting out some, we'll say, less than conventional sorts of moves. And Operations Center, is he... Oh, he might just be tanking up. I assumed it was going to be for a flame tank somewhere around the map, but perhaps not. Bike Buggy is going to be keeping BikeRush contained. And Shocktapus, he's not actually going for a third himself. So... this is actually okay for BikeRush. Shocktapus stabilizing. He's going to get that blue Tiberium eventually. He hasn't actually been stopped from harvesting his blue tib. So as long as he gets all of that blue Tiberium, He'll be all right. Now, he's not teching to one-clicks to click these refineries and try and deny the blue tip that way. Right, BikeRush? That's not what you're doing, right? That would be mean-spirited. That wouldn't be nice. The slow base crawl is the choice for Shocktapus, and he's got pretty much all of that blue tip, so good for him. BikeRushOwnz is keeping an eye on it, and grabs a harvester as well. Not a full harvester, though, so that is not nearly as bad as it could have been. The bad version of that is you get 2 harvesters full of blue Tiberium as they're on their way to the refineries. So you lose out all of that money, you lose out that blue Tiberium, and you lose out on the mining time. And double MCV for BikeRush. This is why you got to be careful. He sells off the Tib chemical plant, selling off virtually everything that he doesn't need, so he's got a little bit of extra cash to spend on his front line. He's going to need it. Obelisk goes down. It's Scorp tanks versus Scorp tanks and an Obelisk. And overwhelming numbers for Shocktapus, but as the avatars come in here, things are going to swing into BikeRush's favor, and that's the thing. You got to jump on that sort of situation. You can't trade out against the long game with BikeRush in this kind of a position. You got to go fast and you got to go heavy, because when he's got that double MCV, when he's dropping 2 obelisks and he's got the reinforcements, you have to have a way to deal with it. And I assume he's going to long-distance mine that blue Tiberium, because you don't want to leave any bit of blue Tiberium on the map. You don't want to leave that extra bit of money for someone else to steal or do something about. Slowly but surely, the MCV moving its way forward. And again, the machine moves on. Shocktrepet. Sorry, buddy. Shocktapus. He's on the back foot, and it's his problem to deal with this big army of BikeRush on the front lines. Obelisk right here at the front. It's going to be hard to deal with over time if he's not able to keep this down and crush it. He's going to be moving in. The Scorpion tanks are going to take a lot of damage from these rocket troopers, but he's going for the harvesters. He's going for the crushes. He's in close with the avatars, and this is going to be a slaughter of Scorpion tanks after they run over all of these rocket troopers, because they're going to be caught in between a rock and a hard place as avatars and reinforcements are surrounding them as the Obelisk gets more and more free damage. On the front line, a Shredder turret gets eliminated, and avatars for Shocktapus, they're a little late to the party. And again, BikeRushOwnz, the denier of economy, stopping the harvesters from actually being able to do their job. And now that he's shut down the front line, Shocktapus is going to be playing from behind economically for the rest of this game. He can grab some of that blue Tiberium. He's flaming down BikeRush's main base, so he's going to get the refineries. If he could go for the tech lab, if he could go for the infrastructure and buy time on the front lines, he could actually come out of this a little bit ahead if he's able to do some big damage here. He's going for the power plants one by one, but now that the Obelisk is here, it's over. Not enough power plants, not fast enough. In that situation, the worst part is, even if he would have done something amazing like flame down the MCV, BikeRush has a second MCV on the front line, so it wouldn't even have stopped his ability to base push. It just would have made it a little less effective. Money sitting there waiting. Shocktapus has a lot of avatars matching one for one the avatars of BikeRush, but he can't match the obelisks. And since BikeRush has the stronger position, he has the actual economy that's rolling. The advantage goes to BikeRush. Even sniping that harvester, so frustrating for Shocktapus to deal with. Really needs to get an engineer into that husk. Really needs to reclaim that. Do everything that he possibly can. Flame tank is nice. You probably, in that situation, you need 2. And you hit the refinery on your way out. You don't hit it as the first thing you go for. Unfortunately for Shocktapus, he wasn't able to get the big damage that he needed. Harvesters are going to get revealed, and that's nice for Shocktapus if he's able to get a couple of harvester kills. Even snipes an avatar. He's going to try and even things up. He's going to try and bring things a little bit closer together. Snipes an obelisk. Ooh, loses 2 avatars for it, bringing things back into a pure avatar advantage for BikeRush. He's got 5 avatars on the front line, reclaiming 1 husk. That's great for Shocktapus, but sniping those husks is a very annoying move that BikeRush is making. Stealing more and more of this Tiberium, he could be safely harvesting this field even with as many refineries as he has. I thought he called in a 1-click there. I wasn't totally sure. Oh, it's going to be right there on the front line, sniping those refinery, whatever was there. Not 1 refinery or 2. Shocktapus selling off what he can, and calling on Ichor Seed over here at his main base. Going to be getting a little bit more money there. 6 obelisks on the front line. And right now, there's no artillery solution from Shocktapus to deal with that. He's just got avatars, which means BikeRush is going to have an easy time trading. Now, it looks like a tip vapor bomb does come in. Gets the kill on 3 of those obelisks. 2 brand new obelisks dropped in the very place where the other ones went down. And that is the only frontline refinery. Finally, beam cannons coming out for BikeRush. And the only frontline refinery for Shocktapus goes down. BikeRush, on the other hand, has 4 safe refineries that his harvesters can go back to. He may not want to have one close to his opponent's 3rd field, but that's okay by him. Finally harvesting away this blue Tiberium. Should just send out for pretty much everything over there. Just get as much of that blue Tiberium as fast as you can. Long distance mining. That's what BikeRush is doing to keep his harvesters relevant. 2 stealth tanks on the move for Shocktapus. Again, these are the great kind of backstabbing moves that can really slow BikeRush down, that you can sneak into the back of his base and do a lot of damage with. And this is what it's going to give Shocktapus the opportunity to come back in this game. If he had snuck out maybe 2 and maybe like a flame tank as well, that would have been phenomenal. He's going to pull back. Can he escape? He gets out of the range of the obelisk. Great from Shocktapus. He still has this problem to deal with on the front line here. All of that money that he has no real access to, but he's getting himself back into the game with that blue Tiberium. Could even try and sneak over here, snipe a harvester or 2. He's got this shadow team. It's just 1 shadow team, so is he just going for scouting? I'm not sure what the purpose of this shadow team is. Big sell-off of like all 5 hands of Nod on the front lines there, and a big move out for BikeRush. He's brought a lot of militant squads, even some mutant marauders. I totally missed that, but he brought some mutant marauders. Snipes 1 power plant, but trades it out for a stealth tank. Not a kind of a loss that Shocktapus can take right now. Mutant Marauder is going to be crushing through this front line with the militant squads, and we've got this many avatars. The thing that your opponent wants to do is build so many rocket troopers, but he just can't. Not even beam cannons here for Shocktapus to try and match the laser output of BikeRushOwnz. And 1 by 1, the war of attrition sides with BikeRush as he pushes closer, ever closer to his opponent's MCV, and killing absolutely everything that Shocktapus brought to this match. The blue Tiberium, too little, too late. Shocktapus has been defeated. BikeRush takes a 4-1 victory over Shocktapus. And that will do it for the finals of the Brotherhood, For the Brotherhood 7. Finals of For the Brotherhood 9. It's a best of 7 finals, but in this particular case, BikeRushOwnz was ahead in the eco from the very, very beginning, and it literally never stopped. At the end there, a huge advantage, 50,000 credits of more stuff that BikeRushOwnz had. Shocktapus, better luck next time as he put up a valiant fight, but he was unable to stop the machine of BikeRushOwnz. That will do it for these finals. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for these players for playing, and thanks for whoever put this on over at GameReplays.org. A lovely tournament with a lovely finals to see out this week. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert, signing out.